Good day, Miss. So this is the work of Group 3 and I am going to report our topic, which is the story of Ernest Hemingway entitled Hills Like White Elephants. These are the contents of our presentation, presenting the characters of the story, the settings, the plot, the summary, reaction story, theme, and symbolization. Characters of the story. The first character is the American, the male protagonist of the story. The American never reveals his name, nor does the girl ever directly address him by name. He is determined to convince the girl to have the operation but tries to appear as though he doesn't care what she does. He remains disconnected from his surroundings, not really understanding or even listening to what the girl has to say. The second character is the girl, the female protagonist of the story. The American calls the girl at a point in the story but never mentions her real name. Unlike the American, the girl is less sure of what she wants and appears reluctant to have the operation in question. She alternates between wanting to talk about the operation and wanting to avoid the topic altogether. The third character is Bill. The American fits the antagonist Bill. He's manipulative, callous, and more than a little annoying, plus he stands in opposition to Jack and her desires. She wants to get married and have a baby. He wants her to get an abortion and for them to both stay single. Settings of the story. Hemingway sets hills like white elephants at a train station to highlight the fact that the relationship between the American man and the girl is at a crossroads. Planted in the middle of a desolate valley, the station isn't a final destination but merely a stopping point between Barcelona and Madrid. Plot of the story. Introduction. A young couple plans to board a train for Madrid. Rising action. The couple gets drinks and begin a conversation. The couple argues over whether to terminate a pregnancy. As they argue, they switch position on the abortion. Climax. The girl begs the man to stop talking. Falling action. The man moves the location for the bags. Resolution. The man returns and the girl assures him she's fine. Summary of the story. In the early 1920s, an American man and a girl, probably 19 or 20 years old, are waiting at a Spanish railway station for the express train that will take them to Madrid. They drink beer as well as two liquorized tasting anise drinks, and finally more beer. Sitting in the hot shade and discussing, the American man says will be a simple operation for the girl. The tension between the two is almost as sizzling as the heat of the Spanish sun. The man, while arguing the girl to have the operation, says again and again that he really doesn't want her to do it if she really doesn't want to. However, he clearly is insisting that she do so. The girl is trying to be brave and nonchalant but is clearly frightened of committing herself to having operation. She tosses out a conversational, fanciful figure of speech, nothing that the hills beyond the train station looks like white elephants, hoping that the figure of speech will please the man. But he resents her ploy. He insists on talking even more about the operation and the fact that, according to what he's heard, it's natural and not really an operation at all. Finally, the express train arrives and the two prepare to board. The girl tells the man that she's fine, she's lying, acquiescing to what he wants, hoping to quiet him. Nothing has been solved. The tension remains coiled and tight. As they prepare to leave for Madrid, the girl is hurt by the man's fraudulent, patronizing empathy, and she is also deeply apprehensive about the operation that she will undergo in Madrid. Reaction story. The narration is super controlled. We're given a bare minimum of information outside of the conversations between man and Jack, and briefly between the man and the barmaid. There are no poetic meanderings or descriptions of the quality of the light, not on Hemingway's watch. Even the dialogue is controlled within an inch of its life. We don't witness a lover's fight, we witness a tense of discussion between two people out in the public. These characters are troubled inwardly, but they do their best to keep their emotions bottled up. Just check out the final two lines of the story. Do you feel better? He asked. I feel fine, she said. There's nothing wrong with me. I feel fine. Since these characters can't get past what they want, talk about why they want it, there's a complete communication breakdown. The conversation has been controlled until it's become non-existent. It's been smothered to death. Theme of the story: talking versus communicating. Although Hills Like White Elephants is primarily a conversation between the American man and his girlfriend, neither of the speakers truly communicates with the other. Highlighting the rift between the two, both talk, but neither listens or understands the other's point of view. Frustrated and proceeding, the American man will say almost anything to convince his girlfriend to have the operation, which, although never mentioned by name, is understood to be an abortion. He tells her he loves her, for example, and that everything between them will go back to the way they used to be. The girl, meanwhile, waffles indecisively, at one point conceding that she'll have the abortion just to shut him up. When the man still persists, she finally begs him to please, 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 please stop talking and realizing the futility of their conversation. In fact, the girl's nickname is Jag. Subtly, subtly indicates that the two characters merely dance around each other and the issue of the hand without ever saying anything meaningful. The girl's inability to speak Spanish with the bartender, moreover, not only illustrates her dependence on the American but also the difficulty she has expressing herself to others. Symbolization. A white elephant symbolizes something no one wants. In the story, the girl's unborn child. The girl comments in the beginning of the story that the surrounding hills look like the elephants initially seems to be casual, offhand remark, but it actually serves as a seg for her and the American to discuss their baby and the possibility of having an abortion. The girl later retracts this comment with the observation of the hills doesn't really look like white elephants, a subtle hint that perhaps she wants to keep the baby after all, a hint the American misses. In fact, she even says that the hills only seems to look like white elephants at first glance and that they are actually quite lovely. Comparing the hills and metaphorically the baby to elephants also recalls the expression the elephant in the room, a euphemism for something painfully obvious that no one wants to discuss.